And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Culp. I'm your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's 9/11, 2025. Amazingly, 24 years removed from that tragic terrorist event. Stunning. 24 years. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a very good day in the market, but we'll get to that in a few minutes, and I promise we'll cover it in depth. But let's start by saying, in case you don't know, this is serious talk on everything that affects you. We'll do the markets, the economy, your job, your industry, debt and deficits and scams and shams, and all the big news of the day that matters to us and hopefully matters to you. And of course, and this is very apropos right now, if you want to email us, just be nice and be respectful, because we're going to be nice and respectful back. Whether you disagree with us 100% or not, the only thing we won't deal with is if you tell us you like Hamas. And you get the whole point of that. It's 9/11 today, so I remember exactly where I was when it hit. And it's kind of hitting home today in that I was standing next to a man named John DeBrule, and very old friend of mine who just passed away in the last month, and I'm going to a celebration for him on Saturday. I was just thinking about that today with 9/11. I remember where I was standing, and there are a few things that stood out, and I didn't even realize this. My son was in the office with me, and I completely my son told me that. I'm like, "Are you sure?" He goes, "Dad." And my son was there in the office with me, and the one thing that stood out, believe it or not, because everybody was having fits over it, and this is not a rib. And as you know, we don't take on anybody with the markets, but Jim Cramer went on TV and said his sources tell him it was a small plane that hit the World Trade Center. And I remember turning to John DeBrule and saying, wait a minute, I was just there, I think it was about 9 months before. That ain't no small plane. And of course, the second plane hit. But I want to talk about, just so you know, 2,977 passed away. But did you know, since 3,767 first responders have died, 2,388 of them had cancer. There's been 48,579 cancer certifications, and they're all linking 9/11. As you know, they were all helping out there. It's stunning. 343 firefighters were killed that day. Do you know they were running up the stairs while people were running down the stairs? And 409 more firefighters have died from cancer links from that. When you have a chance, you should check out the stories of these firefighters. There was a great 60 Minutes piece on that. If you can go find it, check it out. And also read about, he's the Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, and I'm kind of sort of not thrilled with everything that's gone on lately. Go read up what he did for the families of Cantor Fitzgerald, who was hit very hard at 9/11. And we really cannot forget that there are those that would love to do many more 9/11s. And when we get people complain about Israel and what they're doing, well, the bad guys have said they're going to do 1,000 more October 7th. So what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do as a country? You got to eradicate them. So simple as that. Anyway, that's some of the numbers on 9/11 and the tragedy of so many that passed away that were helping out after 9/11. Now, I had Neil Cavuto, who's no longer with Fox, asked me, and I couldn't believe he did, the year after, did a show on a rooftop overlooking the 9/11 site. And it was such... The Treasury Secretary was on right before me. I remember Al Sharpton and the Mayor Koch were on right before me, and I remember going on with Neil, and I couldn't hear a thing he said to me in my ear, so I just ran with it. What a honor to be asked that. I remember that after the fact, and I couldn't believe, because they had removed everything. And I got to tell you, it was a year after I think it was the year after. I couldn't believe how much real estate those Twin Towers took up. They had removed everything. Just rated a big wow. And now let me segue. Charlie Kirk was assassinated yesterday in cold blood by a stupid, cowardly prick. He will be caught. They have pictures of a suspect. We don't know if that's him, but I think they think it's him. They think he's of college age. And I've been getting emails on it. I put out a little note on it today. I've never met him. Didn't know him, but about a year ago, I every now and then I'll go on Instagram, just look at some things, because I follow some weight trainers and things like that. And up came a video of Charlie Kirk, and I had never seen one, where he's at a college in a tent, just like he was when he was murdered. And you had people walk up to a mic and engage him. And he sat there while these young college students were walking up and F-bombing him and calling him the worst possible things you can basically call somebody. And he just sat there and took it and would say something to the effect of, is that what you came here for? Can't we have a good discussion or something? And you had some miserable kids that refused, and then you had others that engaged, and they went back and forth with good dialogue. I thought it was fantastic. And by the way, I don't agree with everything about him. There's some things I quite disagree with some of his views, but I loved it. And when I say to you on this show, email me, just be nice, and if you disagree with me 100%, just be nice and respectful. We mean that. And I've watched a lot of videos now over the last year of Charlie Kirk, and he would go to colleges and engage people that don't like him and disagree with him. I thought it was fantastic. Fantastic. And I don't think he swayed any of them. I think a lot of them thinks he's a racist, thug, Hitler, Nazi, whatever. But wow. And the other thing he did was, the left doesn't realize this, that yes, he brought on a ton of people to the conservative side at these colleges. But do the left not realize? By doing that, you had a lot more people on the left engaged in politics. He did the left a favor also. Anyway, back to the point. I hope they find this creep. I can't say what I would do with him. I'd be drummed off the air. You know what I think of these people. And most criminals, they're cowards. They don't face you. Luigi shot that CEO of United Health in the back. Coward. And now you got another one. And now you got another one. Wife, 2 young kids, 31 years old, very accomplished, very loved. I have a lot of friends at Fox that knew him well and loved him, and I was watching my friends on TV today, and I can tell how hurt they are about this tragedy, this murder. Up next, we'll close the book on that, and then we'll hit the markets. Lots to say. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So, quite the day. Let me put a little finish on this. You know, because of social media and people putting up videos, amazingly, I've watched people get into fistfights and beat the crap out of each other, at least try to hurt each other, because one person was pro-life and one person was pro-choice. And I'm thinking to myself, without me telling you what I am, if I was pro-choice and you're pro-life, okay, teach his own. If I was pro-choice and you were pro-life, but people are out there hating and hating and hating over somebody's opinions. I have said all along, and really do believe this, as long as you are acting in the rule of law, you're not harming anyone, you're not hurting anyone. And by the way, I was using the pro-life, pro-choice just as an example. Let's put that aside. It can be any one of these political subjects. To each his own. That's all. But there's also some logic to it. There are people that believe that men could be in women's sports. I don't. But I'm not going to beat the crap out of somebody who says men should be in women's sports. There are people that think men should go into women's bathrooms. Well, I got news for you. If I had a daughter, I wouldn't be too happy about that. No, thank you. But I won't beat the crap out of you. But there's a lot of people out there that are just so emotional wrecks over what other people think and believe without any respect for anybody's opinion whatsoever. It's amazing to watch. And as I said, you can disagree with me 1,000%. I'll shake your hand, unless you like Hamas and anything else having to do with terrorism and crime and all kinds of crazy crap. And it's just amazing to me how many people are so mad. And now to the point of man is dead. And of course you had your usual ass clowns. There are people celebrating out there. They're celebrating a man's murder. And people are stupid also. They're putting videos up there of them celebrating. They're getting fired from their jobs. Dumbasses. I saw one where I forgot what it was, but it had to do with a person who is supposedly has to do with health and well-being of people, and was celebrating she was fired. And then the media, they had this schmuck on MSNBC. The body isn't even cold. Well, you know, he deserved it. No, he didn't. Schmuck. And they to MSNBC, they fired the moron. But then I was watching CNN. You know who Anderson Cooper is? Oh, jeez. Controversial this, controversial that. This guy was 31-year-old man with 2 kids, and he was just freaking murdered, and you got to throw this controversial to you is not controversial to others, so shut the hell up and be an anchor and not an ass. There's so much of that going on. It's amazing. It really is. And as you know us, I don't care left or right. Live and let live. Live a good life. Vote who you want to vote for. I'm going to respect you. Again, unless you like Hamas. Anyway, that's my little take today of quite the day. And we'll leave it at that. Appreciate your indulgence, me covering this stuff. And if you don't think this matters, well, it does. But as you know, we have a job to do here, and the Dow was up 617 today. S&P 55, NASDAQ 157, NASDAQ 100 143. Russell 2000 was up 44, transports 223, advanced declines were strong. It's a good day. What's going on? Plunging rates, ladies and gentlemen. Cause and effect. Plunging rates. Cause and effect. You can go get a chart of the 10-year yield, and you will see over the last 6-7 days an absolute trouncing of yields. And as we have told you, markets usually like that. It also gives rise to next week. The Fed will lower rates. There are people talking a half point. Who I don't know. But that's the story. Cause and effect. And on top of that, oil prices dropped the stick today. Then you had the Oracle news for the semiconductors and artificial intelligence and all that crap. And we'll get to that in a minute. But today was a good day for banks and financials and insurance and economically sensitive. The transports, as I mentioned. The housing and housing related. Another good day. Interest rates going down. Auto dealers had a good... A lot had a good day today. Let me put it that way to you. I don't know how much more to say. The S&P went into new high ground. You know what we say about new high ground? Potentially begets more new highs. That's how it pretty much works. And when you have strong advanced decline figures, that's a lot of stocks moving higher. Even some weaklings had good moves today. You know, we've been complaining about the rails and truckers. They bounced. Still not leadership. But they had a good day. In the Dow today, Goldman down up 15. That's 15. That's almost 100 Dow points. Home Depot with their crappy numbers up 10. That's 65 Dow points. Sherwin-Williams, housing related, that was up about 70 Dow points. Travelers, the insurance company, I think that's almost breaking out. That was upset. I can go on and on. Caterpillar, which is with their 20% drop in earnings, was up 8 today. That's 60 Dow points. I can go on and on, but you get the point. Up next, what else? I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Even Adobe is up in the aftermarket, and that's been a very weak software stock. They reported earnings. I'll have to look them over in a little bit. I'm writing that down as we speak. Got it. Anyway, back on the markets. What have we always told you? Financials and semis. Well, semiconductors had another good day today. I'll explain that in a second. Financials had a good day today. The Philadelphia Semiconductor Index, which is wild swinging, is back at the yearly highs. The banking index, let's see, the BKX, if I get it right, that's near highs. Yet, as I mentioned, Goldman up today. They were all up today. And you do not get bear markets when that crap happens. And I do know there's a lot of talk. I know there's a ton of talk of recessions and depressions and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm just letting you know, I've said it 1,000 times on this show, just watch the market. It will tell you if we're going into recession, because the market will start collapsing months in advance, because that is always the characteristic of recessions in the markets. The markets flush it out and do its thing. And as you know, the job market, it's a little soft. There's some areas that are soft. We still worry about the ridiculous debt and deficits, which are obscene at this point. But the market loves easy money. Always has, always will. Unless you're going into deep recession / contraction. And it ain't happening as of yet. And as I look at my screens, a lot of green. Even my weakest areas, a lot of green today. They bounce the weak also. And if the weak is not going lower, things are usually okay. If things change, we'll let you know. Now, Oracle. Interesting. It's down $20 today. That was after going up. What did it do yesterday? Let me get that number. Let's see. It closed at... Come on, little guy. It closed at 241, and the next day, yesterday, closed at 328. That's 59, $87. It was up. Gave back 20 today, but is actually off the highs of yesterday, which was 345. We closed just under 308 today. So hopefully you didn't buy the highs yesterday. How's that? Because of that, Broadcom AVGO was down 10, and a few others were down. I gotta tell you, terrific. We'll let you know. We haven't done anything yet. We think there's a good chance that these things are going higher over time. But when things get a little too far away from their norm, they got to settle down. They got to pull back. The other part of the equation of Oracle is they made some big predictions on numbers. So guess what? The makers of stuff had a very good day today. Lam Research, equipment maker, up 8 today, 7.6%. KLAC up $26 today, up 2.86%. And boy, did that do a turnaround. Micron beats the hell out of me what's going on here, but they gapped that up again today. Do you know Micron was 126 days ago? It's 150 today. Something called SanDisk, which, by the way, just came back public in February, and its recent quarter earnings were down 77%, which sucks. Broke out 6 days ago at around 58. It's 84. These are data storage, memory card, flash drive companies, and whatever Oracle said, a big boom. So that list of the names like Credo and Arista Networks, Astera Labs, and others boy, oh boy, we are going to be watching these suckers. Look for great setups. Got to be careful about things that are extended. Let them pull things back. I gotta. Anything's possible in these markets. You do know that. Who knows what the next shoe to drop out of the DC is on tariffs or whatever, but right now, as I was doing my scans late in the day, looks pretty darn good. Tomorrow's another day. The other part of the equation that's quite interesting is while there's some sentiment indicators that worry the living crap out of me, overall there is not extreme bullishness while we're breaking out into new high ground. Quite the quite. Anything troublesome today? Well, Netflix lost one of their big product people, dropped $44 today. Netflix had a bad reaction to earnings in July and has been dead money now since May, but really hasn't done much wrong. It's just going through its own. Spotify was down also. They've been moving kind of sort of in sympathy of each other, and is on the weaker side right now. Not a big deal. Carvana down $11 today. While some other, I got news for you. Ford, that's had its problems. A breakout above $12. Probably going to get some legs. Gold, miners were strong again today. Even though gold would drop, the GLD dropped a whopping 50 cents today. So gold strong, silver strong, commodities had a good day. What's going on with the dollar? It continues to act like crap, but in case you don't know, you can look it up. A weak dollar helps our stocks. A crashing dollar could be a trouble eventually. It ain't crashing, it's dropping. And that's your story. I'll do a double scan tonight, hanging out with Winston. By the way, I had one radio listener complain because he heard Winston barking in the background. And I engaged him very respectfully, but to that wonderful listener, and keep listening, people love dogs. That's all I can tell you. People love dogs. And especially Winston, the greatest dog on earth, had aggressive cancer 3 years ago, gave him 6 months, put him on chemo, couldn't get up on a bed 2 days later because of the chemo, took him off, thought 6 months, 3 years later. Did have one surgery to pull out one of the tumors, and now 9 months ago, they found another tumor in a bad spot, and they were talking about 3 months, 4 months. It's 9 months later, and he's showing no signs of letting up. My dog, Winston. His hearing is a little bit troublesome these days, but that's about it. I got to really kind of raise the voice for Winston to hear me. That's okay. And that's a little bit of Winston, by the way. And to that listener, thank you for engaging, and I appreciate the input. And we always try to do the best we can. Up next, this, that, and the other thing, and whatever else. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Da-da-da. What else did I want to tell you? You know what I want you all to be careful about? This is me, Gary, the product guy. I have like Google Workspace. I've got some Apple things that I pay recurring. Subscriptions. I just want to let you know, I'm not going to mention which ones, but they sneakily raise prices on you with nary a word to you. And now I got to go and engage them. How did I go from paying $10 to $40? I'm letting you know, I think there's a lot of that going on out there. And by the way, your subscriptions to a lot of these streaming services, they're all raising prices. Just letting you know. I swear I signed up for Sirius Satellite for $12 each car that I have, but somehow I'm now paying $25, and I don't remember being told I was paying $25. So I engage them, and they tell me, well, I have the premium thing. I go, when did I ask for the premium thing? Just letting you know, for all the peeps out there, there's a lot of that going on. Just letting you know. Google Workspaces. I went from $10 to $40. And when I looked on it, they have supposedly five people on there, or five whatever. I never signed up for that. So I have to email them. And by the way, it takes an act of God to get a hold of some of these people, to get them to change these things also. So I'm just letting you know this is going on out there. And we're not talking the big bucks, but it is the principle. And I can tell you flat out, if I can save $10 that I'm not supposed to be paying, I am going to do something about it, and you should too. I guess that's the Dave Ramsey in me. And you know what I say about credit cards. Never pay interest. So I just want to let you know that's going on. And again, it's like all of them. Oh, and don't get me started with my storage unit that they hook you in for a low price, and they don't tell you, oh, by the way, it's going up 30% 4 months later. It would be nice if there was some full and fair disclosure. It's kind of like when you buy concert tickets and they give you a price, and okay, good price, and then you go to pay, 30% fees. And they're nice enough to explain what the fees are for, but they don't give it up front. And now you have the airlines trying to lobby the White House into rolling that back for the airlines. And I'm thinking to myself, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Airline, don't you care about your clients, the passengers? Why not just tell them what they're paying up front, the whole thing? Why does it have to be this, and then all of a sudden at the end of the road after going through 6 pages of things, it's 20% more? I don't understand people. And some businesses, it's very weird. Just letting you know that's going on out there. And a lot of it's wrong. In other news, I think I mentioned yesterday, but I'll mention it one more time. They listened over at Cracker Barrel. They're being made fun of. They shouldn't be made fun of. They made a mistake. They corrected their mistake. Just like the president. The stupid Liberation Day tariffs, the insanity of it, they corrected the mistake within a couple of days. Leadership and smarts has more to do with fixing your mistakes than your successes. So good on Cracker Barrel. I hope they are a great success going forward. Tremendous competition for the buck, though. The restaurant, I mentioned yesterday, the restaurant stocks have been acting like the south end of a northbound jackass. And I just think the story goes, there's just so many of them. And the competition is fierce. And you got to be careful location. You know, where I live, there's a Chick-fil-A on one a road with a lot of traffic. You got to wait. I mean, it's double drive-in, but they just put another one just 5 miles away. No wait. So this is what they all have to deal with. I wouldn't want to be in the restaurant industry. Tough road. Wish them all well. If I had any message to all of them, good food, good value, good service. Shouldn't be hard, right? Good value, very important. That would be my message to the CEO of Starbucks, who thinks they can charge whatever they want to charge. You know, Starbucks is very lucky. Somebody else hasn't come in a very big way. There's some other fringe ones out there, but not in the gargantuan way. What is it, that Brothers Coffee that's out there? BROS, Dutch Brothers. I know they're opening up a bunch of places. BROS. They're up to 982 drive-thrus. I have not been in one. Starbucks, I don't know how many they have around the world. In New York City, they're like every corner. We'll keep you apprised. That all said, you have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Have a great evening, everybody. Good night.